present here this afternoon for the 83rd All India Presiding Conference Officers Conference. Honorable Deputy Chairman of the Rajya Sabha, Honorable Speaker of the Rajasthan Legislative Assembly, distinguished presiding officers of various states in the country, and dignitaries present here for the conference today. At the outset, I would like to congratulate and thank the Honorable Speaker of Lok Sabha, Shri Birla Ji, for taking this initiative of organizing the 83rd All India Presiding Officers Conference. And in the same breath, I would like to express my deep sense of gratitude and appreciation towards the Honorable Speaker of the Rajasthan Legislative Assembly for hosting this remarkable event in this pink city. Having said that, this conference is not just a forum for speakers to come together and exchange ideas, but I believe this conference is truly the need of the hour. We as presiding officers of various legislative bodies are duty-bound to fulfillment of the aspirations of the citizens residing in our respective states. We are duty-bound to ensure the smooth functioning of the legislature to achieve this motive of fulfilling the aspirations of the citizens residing in our respective states. And having said that, conferences like this become a platform to share ideas, to share vision for the best possible parliamentary practices and procedures, which we can take back to our home states, to our legislatures, implement them for the betterment of our citizens. And therefore, I deeply appreciate organizing conferences like the 83rd All India Presiding Officers Conference. Without digressing from the topic which has been assigned to me today, being the need to maintain harmonious relationship between the legislature and the judiciary in accordance with the spirit of the Constitution. In fact, the topic itself gives the answer to the issues raised under this discussion. If each one of us, whether it's the judiciary, the legislature, or the executive, ensure that the decisions taken by them, the judgments delivered by them, and the policies framed by them uphold the spirit of the Constitution, I do not think there will be an occasion to deliberate on this issue again. It's my belief that India has adopted parliamentary democracy form of a system for governance. Every system of governance has its pros, has its cons. There are advantages, there are disadvantages. But if you look at the background and if you look at the precedents and the examples which prevail in the world at large, I can confidently say that the parliamentary democratic system is best amongst the rest. And therefore, we are proud to adopt this system in our country. Our Constitution is a wonderful piece of document which not only makes every Indian proud, but also stands as a guiding force to new nations while drafting their respective constitutions. As we are all aware, our Constitution provides for three organs for effective governance: the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. All these three organs are undoubtedly independent, with neither of these organs having superintendence over each other. By doing this, concept of the doctrine of separation of power ensures the independent functioning of all these three organs. In fact, this morning, while the Honorable Speaker of the Uttar Pradesh Legislative Assembly and some other colleagues expressed that while we debate with regards to the functions and the harmonious behavior between the judiciary and the legislature, we should realize that both these organs complement each other and do not stand contrary to the ideas of each other. If we understand this concept and accept this concept and use this concept while legislating and while passing judgments, I am sure that this concept of contradiction will not arise. Having said that, let me also draw the attention of the delegates with regards to the spirit of Constitution. This morning, while we were discussing, Honorable Vice President of the country pointed out that the basic structure of the Constitution should not be compromised. However, under the garb of compromising the basic structure of Constitution, we should not somehow compromise the legislative supremacy of the legislature. I completely respect and subscribe to his views, but at the same time, I would like to draw the attention of all the delegates to the fact that the Constitution and the spirit of the Constitution lies in the welfare of the citizens at large. The spirit of the Constitution lies in the fact that injustice should not be done to any individual citizen in this country. The spirit of the Constitution ensures that the fundamental rights guaranteed to every individual are carried out to the T. The spirit of the Constitution also ensures that the fundamental rights guaranteed to every citizen are not compromised, and there needs to be a check and balance to ensure that this doesn't happen. And the check and balance theory prescribed by the Constitution of India integrates the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive. We as legislators definitely stand to legislate, to make laws, enact good laws for the betterment of the citizens. The judiciary is empowered to review the laws which are enacted by us. This afternoon, we were also mentioning about Article 124 and how the laws which are defined by the court should not be considered as the law of the land. I certainly agree with you. The courts are not here to legislate. We are here to legislate. The legislature is here to legislate. However, if we withdraw the power to review, I am sure that we will be compromising with the basic structure of the Constitution, which in effect shall affect the well-being of the state and the well-being of the citizens at large. And therefore, while I appreciate the thoughts expressed by Honorable Vice President, I would still believe that to ensure that the basic structure of the Constitution is not compromised with, we should have the judiciary playing an effective role along with the legislature while legislating. It is the role of the judiciary to review and to ensure that arbitrary laws are not passed or are not allowed to function in the state. It is the role of the judiciary to ensure that the laws which are passed by us fall within the framework of the Constitution, because the framework of the Constitution is there only for the betterment of the state and betterment of the individual citizens of this country. Having said that, we should also understand that the concept of judicial overreach is perhaps bound to happen in a democratic setup like ours. A vibrant judiciary, while exercising its powers to ensure that justice is delivered at times steps into the arena of legislation, which certainly has to be avoided. We also were discussing the concept of colorable legislation. We have a federal structure in our country. The Honorable Speaker of the Delhi Assembly did point out his grievance with regards to certain functions which have been curtailed in the past or in the near past. However, the beauty of federalism is to ensure that the state does what's necessary for the betterment of the people and the center does its role for the betterment of the people. And this federal structure can only survive and progress if we ensure that both these organs, both these legislative bodies, executive bodies, function in tandem with each other and not in contradiction with each other. Therefore, it's a self-regulatory process that we need to adopt. And while we legislate, I did hear some of my esteemed colleagues talking about how legislations, perhaps laws are enacted in a hasty manner, sometimes in commotion, and sometimes without debate. I think it is this very problem that gives rise to the unharmonious situation between the judiciary and the legislation. If laws are unambiguous, clear, and definitive, we certainly won't need the judiciary to intervene and interpret it against the spirit with which they were enacted by the assemblies, by the parliament. And therefore, I would urge my colleagues and the respective legislative bodies to take this function of legislating very seriously with a committed approach and to ensure that no bill is enacted in the parliament or in the assembly without a fruitful debate. I do understand the constraints of time. I do believe and I do understand that there are many speakers whom I am looking forward to hear so that I can take forward their vision and their views back to Maharashtra for able functioning of the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly. There are many points which I wanted to make, but due to paucity of time, I will not excess the time granted to me. I once again thank the organizers of this conference, Honorable Speaker Shri C.P. Joshi ji, Honorable Lok Sabha Speaker ji, Honorable Harivansh ji, for giving me an opportunity to express my views, assuring you of my best interest for the democracy, sustenance of democracy in this country. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, long live democracy. Thank you.
Thank you.